Talk about inconvenient. Take a look at this. This guy right here is Bill Price. Bill Price may be going to jail. Bill Price is speaking at a Republican, is a GOP, on the 30 minutes after the election had been called for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Take a listen to what Bill Price says here. This is just the end point. Bill Price had been talking for 30 minutes. I'm going to tell you exactly what he was saying for the 30 minutes, that it potentially will have felony charges arriving at Bill Price's door.
Have to do whatever it takes. And if that means changing your address for the next 2 months, so be it. I'm doing that. I'm moving to Georgia.
I'm moving to Georgia. Now, some people will say, well, that's tongue-in-cheek, right? But is it tongue-in-cheek? He gives his brother's address, and it says you can use this address. And he gives people explicit instructions on how to do it, including about going online and registering online. Now, the reporter who captured this video, I think it was like 30 minutes, watched him say all of this stuff. Now, why is this important? And why is he telling people it's so vitally important that you do this? That he's basically giving people instructions to go to Georgia. Because runoffs. What happens if Biden takes the 2 seats? Meaning if Democrats win the House, win the Senate. Right now, there are 2 seats up for grabs. Georgia, which typically goes Republican, has just gone to Joe Biden. Has just gone to Democrat. So under normal circumstances where Georgia would be a lock, because you always have 2 Republicans, anytime you've had runoffs, have always won. Well, you typically have a Republican also win the state. Not now. And if the Republicans didn't win the state of Georgia from the standpoint of the presidency, is it possible they could also lose it from the standpoint of their Senate races? The possibility is clearly yes. This is 2020 after all. Texas nearly went to the Democrat. Georgia, shockingly, never seen it in my lifetime, went to the Democrat. So yeah, these seats are up for grabs, right? So his point is, Democrats have taken the House, or held the House. Democrats have taken the presidency. If Joe Biden gets these last 2 seats, all hope is lost. Everything is destroyed. The world is going to get eaten by, some kind of monster or something. Some kind of kraken. And so we must hold. And his argument is, one of the things that you can do to hold, scorched earth, leave it all on the field, you can go and register to vote in Georgia. And you can vote in the runoffs with this address when you go and register to vote in Georgia, a state that you do not live in. Again, Florida attorney is giving a speech to other GOPers telling them go to Georgia to vote in that runoff election to ensure that the Republicans win those Senate seats in order to stymie anything that Joe Biden could get, meaning making sure that Joe Biden retains, the Republicans retain the Senate. Because understand what happens. Joe Biden gets those 2 seats, 50-50, with the tiebreaker, Kamala Harris. This is where the vice president actually gets a job to do, other than just standing behind the president. In this case, head of the Senate. He's telling people to go and vote. So I love this. When they contacted him, he said, oh, I'm just joking. That's just tongue-in-cheek. That's just tongue-in-cheek. The problem for him, and the inconvenient problem for him, about this being tongue-in-cheek, is that they contacted the registrar to see if he indeed registered. He said right here, Price encouraged the crowd to work towards a billion-man march at the state capitol and show up in Atlanta on election day. We absolutely have to hold the Senate, and we have to start fighting back, and we have to do whatever it takes, Price said in the video. And if that means changing your address, right, for 2 months, right. Price told the group he's moving to his brother's address in Hiram, Georgia, in order to register to vote in the Georgia runoff. He repeats to spell his brother's name and address as members of the group jot it down. They can be heard mumbling the address in the background while some write, we can really truly register at that address, one woman writes. Price says, sure, adding that they have to plan to move or plan to show a move, suggesting they have mail sent there. And can it be anywhere in the state of Georgia you can register? Another woman asks. So if you got a cousin, dogs, cats that live somewhere nearby, it doesn't need to be one particular county? Yep, Price answers. This is going to be a statewide election on January 5th. I'm going to be voting for Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. One woman also asked about the deadline to register to Georgia. Price said he's unsure, but will have to check and offer advice on how to get it done online. It can be done online, or you can request the ballot at your new address in Georgia by mail, Price said. You just go to the Secretary of State's website for the state of Georgia and register to vote there. Like, he's being very specific about this. And he's being very serious. Yes, you can use this address. You should even get mail sent to that address, just so it looks that much more legit. This is a Republican who screams about voter fraud in the Republican Party all the time, telling people not just to commit voter fraud, but showing them how to do it, saying it is necessary to do it to help that person win, Loeffler and Perdue win, and took the extra step of doing it himself. And if they need a driver's license, I'm going to get a driver's license, he said. If they need mail, I'm going to have mail there. This is astonishing. So when Price was reached by email, he denied being serious about the move. Thanks for reaching out. I did not change my voter registration, and I do not have 2 million roommates, Price wrote, referencing a joke he told at one point during the talk about having millions join him in Georgia. But if my humorous comments bring attention to themselves and widespread voter fraud in Georgia, I would submit to you it is a good thing. Channel 2 confirmed that Price registered to vote the day after he made the speech, using his brother's Herm's address and swearing to an affidavit that he was a Georgia resident and eligible to vote. Wow. Republican gives a speech to the GOP. He's at some kind of GOP function. And after giving the speech, he makes the point that, look, I don't think the chances are good that we're going to win in court. Basically saying Trump's going to lose in court. He follows it up by basically telling people in very explicit details how to go to Georgia to register to vote, even though they live in Florida, and saying that this is necessary because we got to hold the Senate and we can't allow Democrats to take the Senate. After giving them explicit information on how to do it, after giving them the brother's address, after giving them all of this information, the reporter contacts him and says, what is this about? I mean, you're telling people to register in Georgia. This is voter fraud. He makes fun of it. It's like, yeah, I'm just joking. I'm not serious. The reporter, due diligence, follows up. And oh my God, he did register in a state that he didn't live. This is against the law. And this is something the Republicans scream about all the time. And he isn't not just encouraging people to do it. He did it himself. Whether you realize it or not, that's illegal. That's illegal. So, his voter registration apparently is in pending status. Her office was preparing to write him and ask him to bring his driver's license to cure and complete the registration since the information was provided last month. He did it. He did it. Now, they're investigating him for this. It seems flat, fat, on its face, lock, stock, slam dunk case. I don't know how it's not. You have him on video being very explicit about what he's telling people to do, being very explicit about what he's going to do. He turns around and does that thing and registers to vote in a state to which he does not live using his brother's address. And yeah, I guess he's going to have to explain this in court, right? So they contacted the brother. The brother said no, he hasn't necessarily seen the video. Right here. It's a Wednesday afternoon. Georgia's Deputy Secretary of State, Jordan Fuchs. What is this? Fuchs? I think this is. Yeah, Fuchs confirmed the office will be exploring felony charges tied to fraudulent voter registration in Georgia. For weeks, Georgia officials have warned that registering to vote with no attempt to stay in Georgia can be punishable by a felony charge that can carry up to 10 years sentence and $100,000 fine. Quote, "This isn't Georgia," said Fuchs. This isn't California, said Fuchs. "We actually investigate and seek to prosecute individuals who try to vote illegally here. Our system is built to prevent this behavior. We will seek to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law." Yes, Price fucked up. If Price is going to say something like that in the future, you probably don't want to be looking in a videotape, and you probably don't want to put that on your Facebook page, which is exactly what he did. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed, guys. Thanks all. Oh, and hit the notification bell.